Hi, my name is Meg, and I'm going to show you how to make a course on OpenEd. There's two things that you need to log on for, and one is creating courses. The other one is creating playlists, which is kind of like a favorites, where you can add things that you want to watch again, or you can share with others. But a course is kind of like a learning management system, where you can add multiple topics, and you can add students to your courses. So if I click on Create a New Course up here, we can see that I already have one on here. But I want a new course. And I teach Algebra 1 right now. And the next topic that we're going to cover is solving equations. This is a 9th grade course. And then I have some standards to choose from. This is a Common Core Math. And then I can enter a little description. We will be solving equations in one variable. And then I'll create the course. And it comes up, and there's a couple things I can do. The first one I'm going to do is add some topics to my course. So if I click up here, Add Topic, first thing that we are going to learn is explaining how to solve equations. And I can select a standard to match this, and this standard is from the Common Core again, and it is the reasoning with equations and inequalities. There's 386 things that go along with that, and it's the very first one. And if you notice, there's 15 resources that are going to come up with explaining each step and solving a simple equation. So if I click on that and click to add the topic, OpenEd gives me some recommended resources. And I can go through here and figure out which ones I think are good and add those on there. If I click on one, it'll take me to the link. This tells me a little bit about the standard, gives me a couple examples, and then it gives me a worksheet and some answers down at the bottom. So if I think that's something good to assign to my students, I can click Assign to Topic. It shows up yellow now instead of just white. And now it says Remove from Topic over here in the corner. And if I don't see any others that I really want to put on there, I can go Resources from Playlists. And I can click on These are my favorites and click on any here that I might have favorited as I was watching. Or I can search by standard. So this is the standard that I already typed in. And if I want to narrow it down by anything, I can type something in here. Remember, the standard was kind of big. The one that I already selected came up again. Graphing and solving linear inequalities. Not doing inequalities just yet, even though they were part of the standard. So if I want to narrow that down, up here and just write equation. And now it's just going to bring up equation stuff. So the yo-yo problem, let's check out what this is. Gives me a lesson. And I can read over this, and if I think it's something good, I can again go back and assign it to the topic. Any other ones that I want, I can click on Assign. And then when I'm done, I click Save Changes. Over here, my assigned resources, it keeps track of the 4 that I selected and said, yes, these ones are good. And if I go back to the course, my topic shows up. And I can add another topic. The next thing that we do is the actual solving. So solving equations in one variable. And the standard that goes along with this is in the same spot, the reasoning with expressions and equations. Where did it go? There we go. And it is the third one. Solve linear equations and inequalities in one variable. Add this topic, and again, I will get some recommended resources. Variables on both sides is always a good thing. In one variable. Some more on both sides. You get the idea. I have 3 recommended resources. And I can add as many topics as I want. The next one is solving for variables, where students need to manipulate equations and just get the variables alone. And this is under creating equations, and it is the 4th one. I add my topic, again, some good things come up. You can add another core or another topic if I want to. The last one is creating and solving equations, where students will have to create an equation and then do the solving as it goes with like a story problem. That one is the creating equations also, but the first standard. And once I'm done building my course, I can then assign it to students. So if you look up here, we have two tabs, topics and classes. Under classes, I haven't created one yet, but right next to add topic, we can add a class. And I teach this class first hour. So I add the class, and my students are given a class code, 5DOK4. So when my students log on, they click that I'm a student, they'll have this class code to type in. And then I can come back here, and right next to the add topic and class, I can hit show student view. And when I click on that, it takes me to what my students are going to see. So Algebra 1, solving equations, this is my description, and then explaining how to solve equations. That was the first thing that we did. It goes through all the resources, solving equations in one variable, and it gives me the resources I selected, and then the last two. So students get this really nice view of a topic and then resources that can help them with it. I use this a lot for students that are struggling in class and for students that might be absent. This is a resource that I can point them to and say, these are the things that we did today, and have them either watch videos or work on worksheets that were created or do some interactive game to help make up that time that they lost. I've also done this where I've had a different topic for every week in a class, like week 1 of school, and put a bunch of resources for everything that we've done in week 1. So that's how to make a course. You can create as many courses as you want, you can add as many topics as you want, and as many classes as you want. And then your students have access to this amazing resource where they can get help or relearn or dive deeper into topics.